Hi, it's Scott ROCKFILE back with another podcast review. Let's talk about the 2019 Midsommar in its 4K edition from A24. Boy, have I had this for a while, and I just was almost dreading watching it. Not that I disliked the film. I watched it in the theater. At the time when it came out in 2019, I was a member of the AMC, $23 a month with tax. You could go see 12 movies a month. So at $2 a film, I went and saw everything. And I sat in a theater and watched all 3 hours of this and thought, man, I just watched a work of art that really disturbed me when it left. So that podcast is up from 6 years ago. Wow. And I really haven't watched the movie since. It stuck in my head, like every scene in the movie stuck in my head. Well, for 2 years now, I've been a member of A24, and they give you $5 back a month when you pay your subscription. I joined when it was $5 a month, so it's been free for me ever since. These days, it costs $10 a month, and I would still recommend it for all the stuff you get. But anyway, they have a shop, and you can use the credits they give you back in the shop to buy their arguably expensive special edition. The Midsommar 4K for the director's cut comes in a tall cloth-bound book, like several of their other editions for Stop Making Sense, for The Green Knight, for Lighthouse. There's several of those, and they're like big books with a 4K in them. This book recreates some of the folk art that's in the movie, even some of the naughty stuff. And it's a nice special edition. You also get some behind-the-scenes stuff, and you get the movie on 4K. The only way to get the director's cut, I think it's now on streaming, but at the time, this was the only way to get the director's cut. It's nearly 30 minutes longer, so this makes it a much longer film, but I didn't really find anything that was like stuck out or shouldn't have been there. It's like, okay, I mean, yeah, the movie's still, I always thought the movie was a little long, but would you care as much about the characters and what happens at the end? This is not everybody's cup of tea, by the way. I'm not getting hard into the movie because I'm really going to talk about the 4K because it's been out for a while and a lot of people have opinions on it. I think it's a well-made film. Ari Aster has proven himself that he can make a compelling film, but I think he's getting further and further out there, and I appreciate the fact that they're giving him the rope to go out and do more creative things, but they're landing with less heaviness with me. They're well made. I can appreciate that, but this was one of the last one of his films that I went, wow, that's a really powerful work of art. Again, also a very disturbing work of art. The story of the young couple who go on a trip to Sweden to visit a cult, basically, after her parents die in a horrible murder-suicide type thing. It's an interesting film. It always has been to me, and her journey through it and the friends, but nothing ends well for most people in the film, and they let you know right up front with some of the things that happen with these people in Sweden that everything's not as it appears, and we get into some hallucinations and some possible supernatural stuff, and in the end, it's for you to decide everything, especially what the ending means. It looks incredible on 4K. This is a movie that was captured all the way up to 8K, had a 4K DI. It has Dolby Vision. There's a little bit of what appears to be digital grain in there, but it looks fantastic. It's got a 5.1 lossless soundtrack, the same one that's probably on the Blu-ray. Sounds great. It's more immersive than your typical 5.1. Even the stuff that's just like normal things happening, them having lunch outside with people all around and music over in the corner and stuff like that. And it's a really nice special edition. If you can get it cheaply, these special editions were available for a short period of time in Walmart, if everybody remembers that from, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 months ago or whatever. You could get A24 special editions. A lot of Walmarts put them in the album section with some of those special edition J-pop things and K-pop things. But even mine, they had them for a while and then they were gone. And they've had some more A24 releases at my Walmart here in Kenai, Alaska, but not a lot. We don't get massive amounts of, we basically have two stores. We have a Fred Meyer and a Walmart that gets new releases, and that's about it. A lot of us, buy things through the mail if you want that. But anyway, long story short, this is an incredible special edition, and if you love this movie, or you love Florence Pugh and Will Poulter and some of the other people in the film, or Ari Aster for that matter, then you'll really dig this movie. Again, 30 minutes. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes originally. Now it's almost 3 hours long. if you're ready to go through that journey, if this is the type of thing you're in the mood for, then it hits the spot very well because it's incredibly well made and there's a lot of layers to chew on, things going on, things to think about, stuff to discuss later. It's a very layered, very well-made film that looks incredible in this 4K edition, but I will stress it is not for everybody. I have friends who think it's the most boring, watching paint dry kind of thing that ever. It disturbed me for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe because I saw it in a theater and a lot of people see it at home. But it's always been one of those movies that, like, if there's ever a special edition, I'll have it on the shelf as one of those classics that I'll watch a couple of times in my lifetime, a handful of times. But I like these A24 special editions. I got a great deal on it. And watching it now, it looks and sounds fantastic. To have a home version, this is the version to get. Whether you like the movie or not, well, you've probably already figured that out by now. The movie's been out for a while, but I think it's a well-made horror movie that's very different. A lot of the horror happens in bright daylight. Some of the things aren't really horrible until you start thinking about them, and then it ends with a very strange, almost upbeat but horrifying ending. Midsommar, it's available from the A24 shop in this special edition. You might be able to find it somewhere in a back corner of a Walmart, but it's worth the money if you want to collect the movie because the book has a lot of stuff recreated from the film. You're not going to get that anywhere else. Looks good on the shelf if you have a shelf big enough to fit it, but now that I have like 4 or 5 of these, I made some room. I like the movie. If it's not your favorite, I totally understand, but this 4K edition is pretty spectacular, and it was a good watch in October. I'm Scott. I'm ROCKFILE. More podcasts are on the way. Please like, share, and subscribing is very important. Have a spectacular day.